They got better, and beating Utah Warriors midway through the season, that might have been the difference as to where their tide turned. Then they made their ways towards the playoffs, and when they got to the playoffs, they really showed their impressive nature. The win against Miami Sharks was fantastic, and then that win last week against the Chicago Hounds. I mean, that had everything. The Paula Balekana try-saving tackle and the Carl Sakira try was exceptional. And with an 11-5 record coming into this final today, and the home fans are only 45 minutes away, you like to think that they probably are favourites for today, but there's a West team as well involved.
There is a team that have come from the West, and that team is the Houston Saber Cats. Their first win in the playoff came this year. They are now in the MLR Championship final as a founding member of the MLR since 2018, and they are a force to reckon with. Last season, very impressive 14-2 in the playoffs. They fell at home in their opening game. This season, they also started a bit wobbly against Chicago with a tough loss at home, but then bounced back with a statement win against Utah, who were undefeated at the time and riding high in the West. And that sort of momentum, even though they did almost wobble at Anthem on the East Coast, they had a few bloopers there, but it really turned around in the playoffs as they started to show what they're capable of. A big win against LA in a humid, wet day, and then they unseated the top seeds in the West on the road against the Utah Warriors in convincing fashion, and they roll in with momentum today. But we could talk rugby all day. Well, let's get out. We've got Matt McCarthy. He is in the crowd to speak with the fans. Take it away, Matt.
I didn't hear you. I'm just distracted. I'm in rugby heaven here. Absolute rugby heaven, surrounded by beer, surrounded by rugby fans. And unlike you big shots up on the stage, I'm rubbing elbows with the people. And we're going to hear from the people. But I know that you got a lot of stuff to get to right now. So we'll come back. And back to you, Bob and Steve.
Matt's been out in the crowd so long, he's forgot about us. Well, he hasn't got us down. But no, what a character, what a servant to rugby and media in America. Absolutely chuffed to have Matt on board as well.
I'm absolutely chuffed to have him. He really is an absolute guru of rugby media. And we're going to have more special guests coming onto the show in just a moment. But like you say, Corbs, in terms of this journey with the New England Free Jacks, is this pressure on them? Because yes, their home fans are here, they're ready to go. I've talked about their journey as well, how it hasn't been straightforward. The pressure of taking a three-peat. The
pressure is on them. Do not get any disillusions here. Yes, they're going for the three-peat. Yes, they have made the playoffs, but I have coached a team that's been a favourite in a final, and that false confidence can be the recipe for complacency. So they need to go out there today and actually perform their best game. Against Chicago last week, going 17 points down is not going to be good enough against Houston today. Houston are the type of team, if you start to chase them, they run away with it because they feed off your errors, they put pressure on you, they want you to play and chase the game, and that really is not the way they can start today.
I totally agree. We're going to find out, of course, at 2 p.m. Eastern, ESPN2, that is going to be. We are just waiting for our first guest. I know there's so much chaos going on in the crowd, and we might even get someone up pretty soon and now. Why don't we just take a look, if we can, because I know I talked through the story of how they got to the final and also the championship. So I want to go back to the East because I talked about how, going up against Chicago wasn't straightforward for New England Free Jacks, and the question mark as to where they're going to be this team today to go all the way. Here, it was that try against Utah Warriors I alluded to earlier was the one. It was Andrew Quattrin who got over, just changed their season around. And this, for me, it just shows a quality team. How even though they didn't start very well, they've come good. Paula Balekana, I think he's second in all-time try scorers in MLR this season, I should say. He is such a threat. Watch out for him. And as I say, the playoffs just were controlled. Great win against Miami Sharks, and then in the end, they managed to just get it done. Can you just talk me through this try-saving tackle, Corbs?
This was probably the moment of the game. Paula Balekana knocking the ball out as Bryce Campbell was imminently about to score. That was the game, because this was the try that won it at the depth from Carl Sakira on his 57th game for the Free Jacks. What a day, and what a way to roll in. They are the buzzer beaters in the East.
They are are indeed. Look at that. We mentioned earlier. Just keep an eye out, though, on the fact that they are number one in penalties. That could be the negative of them today.
It really could. I brought that up to Ryan Martin, the head coach of the Free Jacks, yesterday, and his answer was, well, if you are the number one team and you use line speed, you go hard at the breakdown and defense, you run the risk of penalties, and he thinks that risk-reward balance is in the right favor for his team. You and me, not so sure. We will see today out on the field how that one goes.
Well, I tell you what, before we go into anything else, I see a certain guest that is actually just around the corner, which I want to get involved.
Legendary guest.
Legendary guest. But before he comes on, we bring him on set. Just go back to the fact that we also have Houston. Come back to the fact that, well, their journey.
Well, let's look at the Houston Saber Cats. And really, like I said, they did not start as well as they would have liked. Losing at home in Houston, which is traditionally a fortress for them. But this was the bounce-back statement win at Utah. Utah were undefeated at this time, riding high in the West, and they just beat them convincingly. It wasn't even close. The combination of forward power, big carriers, strong set piece, a very tactical kicking game was too much for Utah, but they had some wobbles on the East Coast this season. None more than this game against Anthem, winning with a last-second penalty. Otherwise, they would have been the first win in Anthem's history, and then they rolled into the playoffs. And this is where I feel the Houston Saber Cats are peaking. The big forwards, the tight game in the set piece in the maul, the strong carries, that got them past LA and a nail-biter on a wet, humid day. And then they traveled to Utah and they upset the top seeds in the West. And it wasn't even close, Will. Just like in that earlier round game, they showed why they're a force. Here they are, 11-5 record. They have the number 3 defense in MLR, but really it's their physicality, the big, heavy forwards, power in the center, and then they've got dangerous transition players out wide like Drake Davis. They'll look to score off lightning, look for clever kicks from Alatimu. They really are a threat in this game today.
Well, Corbs, we've talked enough. We just opened up and just splurged. We're joined by our first guest, and it's 3-time Super Bowl winner and also co-owner of the New England Free Jacks, who are going for a 3-peat. It's none other than Mr. Patrick Chung in the building.
How you guys doing?
Man.
Patrick, welcome, mate. Welcome. Sorry, we got to get you started, mate. Get a Jocko going,
one going.
It's early in the day. We got to lift it. We got a big day.
Cheers to you, brother.
Cheers, brother.
Appreciate you coming on the show. Appreciate you coming on.
Down with that.
Pat, straight into it, my man. I mean, it's so cool to have someone like you, NFL legend, Super Bowl winner. Why did you get into Major League Rugby? I think that's definitely what people want to know.
Nate Ebner, really.
Oh,
yeah, my guy.
So he's been my locker mate for 8 years, right next to me.
I feel for you, bro. I feel for you.
That's my homie.
I know, I love him, bro.
Yeah,
so
he's always watching like the Sevens, All Blacks and all that. I'm like, what are you watching? So I leaned over, I watched it. He's like, rugby. I'm like, all right. So I started watching. I'm like, holy crap.
You're good.
This is my,
YouTube. We're YouTube.
Yeah. This is my kind of game right now. It's a gentleman's game, but a savage game.
Yeah.
So then he started playing, went to the Olympics. We were all watching in the cafeteria, and I was like, God damn, this is a dope sport.
Yeah.
And he asked me one day, he goes, hey, you want to own a team? And I'm like, and this is my friend. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And that's how I got into it. Now I kind of learning. I'm still learning a little bit, but I like the sport, man. It's a gentleman's sport where you try to rip someone's head off, but then have a beer after.
Exactly.
That's I love that.
It's the code of the brotherhood. You go hammer and tongs, fire and brimstone, but then your brothers afterwards, and the mutual respect is there. And I think that's what separates this game from a lot of other sports, and one of the things that I love too. And Patrick, for you, obviously, very successful career. New England seems to have a knack of winning championships. What is it going on with the Free Jacks? What about the organization has led to so much success over these last couple of seasons?
Like you said, brotherhood. Number one, we're community-based, for sure. But when I watch these guys, I always tell my teammates when I was playing, you play as a family, you win as a family, and you lose as a family. But we're a family.
Yeah.
And I can see that with these guys. They play like they're brothers. Like they have accountability for their mistakes and everything, and even in the Speedos and locker rooms and all the things. Yeah. So they play like they're a family, and I feel that's everything will fall into place after that. You know, there's no prima donnas on this team. There's no me guys on this team, and they just play together. So that's what I see from the outside in.
No substitute for culture. I was going to say, the organization, you know, bleeds from the top down, and you can see it from the outside. It is something very special.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I mean, you've been in an unbelievable culture when I think of the Patriots as well. Do you draw on comparisons of your sort of past career and bring that into the Free Jacks? Do you talk to the lads about your successes?
I've talked to them a couple times, but not too much. I kind of like stay away. But like I said, those things, I see them like you want to play for that person. Yeah. That's what my message would be to them. Like, man, I got you. Somebody slap you, I'm gonna slap the hell out of them. You know what I mean? Like that's how I would portray that message, I guess.
Absolutely love it. And Patrick, something I've always wanted to ask you: if you could go back and play rugby, what position do you think you would have played?
Nate always told me I'd be a wing or a wing.
I reckon
Nate always told me defense. I would want you maybe like in the midfield.
Yeah, the centre maybe as well.
Yeah, you read defenses for fun. So like.
Yeah, so a half.
Center.
Nate always told me wing.
Yeah, wing.
I always said wing.
Oh well, I'm pretty sure you can play anywhere.
I'm not in the scrum. Get me out of the scrum.
Don't worry, I got that covered.
You got it covered. Yeah,
I'm here for it.
There's a reason I look better than him. Put it on camera.
I'm a niche market, mate. Don't knock the niche, all right?
I'm not. I would never. Pat, as well, you mentioned about the Free Jacks, and I mentioned and asked about why MLR. What's your excitement that you've seen with Major League Rugby here professionally in the US?
I think it's growing pretty fast here. I mean, a lot of people have been dumping money in, and hopefully it grows faster. I think the growth rate is 40-something% or something a year. Yeah. So it's growing fast. So hopefully we can get it big, and people are flying over and they want to play here. So that'd be great.
And also other NFL boys are getting involved. Marshawn Lynch at Seattle.
Yep. And Richard Sherman.
You're gonna call them out or what? We need some like owner beef on Twitter.
Hey, Seattle's not here right now.
There we go. That's what we like. That's what we like. All right, last question for you, Patrick. Today's game, how do you see it going down? And if it is your team, what would it mean to win 3 in a row?
I mean, I almost brought my rings here to show them off for 3.
I was hoping you were.
I know, but I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think we're a good. They have a physical team. I'll say that they're a physical team, and you know, I think we have the better team. I think we have the better mental team and a better coach. But they have a physical team. They're a good damn team.
Yeah, it's tight.
That's what I'm saying. They have a good team. So hopefully, I'm just gonna watch this and just. My parents are here. I'm going to say, hey, Mommy, Daddy, leave me alone. Let me just watch this real quick.
Love it, Pat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Go and enjoy the day.
Yeah,
and thank you for joining us. We're going to enter more chaos because there's a certain Matt McCarthy. He's our other guy somewhere in the crowd over there. Let you get away. Matt, who are you with? Come on, man. Continue the carnage.
Well, thanks, guys. And you got chaos up there. We got chaos down here. And I've got a segment called The Price is Wrong. And I've got Neil from the Houston Saber Cats and Brian from the New England Free Jacks. Brian, I'm going to start with you. How much would it cost for you to change into that outfit and wear it during the game? There's a price.
There's a price. Everybody's got a price. But not today.
Not today. How about, I'll get back to you. How much would you pay for him to be wearing Saber Cats?
Oh, that's a big one. Depends. When we win, then about $100 I'll pay.
$100? What are we talking about? Hey, wait a minute. How about $200,000?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love the colors. My boys, the Bruins.
Get out of here. This is not working. You could buy me. I could do anything for money. These guys, they're too earnest. They're fanatics. That's what they are. They're fanatics. They're Scottish. Anyway, thanks. Back to you, Steve and Jimmy.
Oh, he's on fire, Matt, as well. Hopefully my name's Jimmy, but we'll carry on. A lot of people ask us, why Rhode Island? Why is the MLR final here? I think you can get a little taste of it with some of the crowd, the atmosphere, what rugby means to them. But you came here earlier in the year. You had a little look. Let's take a look at what you found here for today's game.
Major League Rugby Championship here in Rhode Island. Centerville Bank Stadium for the big game, the best in the West against the best in the East, June 28th. But why Rhode Island? Well, you're going to see why, and it's going to be epic.
It's a 2v1 against Rousseau.
What a run from Ben. So you're here, 28th of June?
Yes.
We could not be more excited about MLR coming here in June. This is a world-class multi-sport venue. This is a strong rugby market.
You gotta be here, so you're here, 28th of June?
Yes. Yes, sir.
There's a big rugby game in the stadium. You gotta be there. You gotta be there? Yeah? You gotta
of the desk as well, and Will obviously joined here by the CEO of the MLR, Nick Benson, who's looking great as well, mate.
Great.
Best shape I've ever seen you in. What an occasion. You brought your A game on the final. Welcome, Nick. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. It's been a really good couple days of events. The fan fest and the events yesterday, and the people coming out. Rhode Island, Pawtucket has been incredibly welcoming. We're really excited for a great crowd and a great game, and it's going to go down to the wire.
It is. You know what? We were just trying to see there why Rhode Island. I want to ask you that question. I also want to stick a Jocko Fuel in front of you, Nick, if you don't mind, just in case you need a bit of energy.
I always need a little energy.
It's lovely,
just
mate.
A little bit of energy.
It's tea-based caffeine. It's absolutely fine. You've got a few nootropics in there as well for cognitive function. I need that for my ADHD. We're absolutely rolling on the things. They're probably limiting me on these.
I know.
By how fast I'm talking at the moment.
I know. Nick, why did MLR decide on Rhode Island in the end?
Yeah, we went through a process. We talked to a lot of cities about where we wanted to be. The ownership group at Centerville Bank Stadium reached out to us early, and I think our first reaction was, well, does Rhode Island make sense? We don't really have a team there. And then the more we looked at it, and the more we talked to the group, and the more they kind of put into it, they really wanted to have us here. They wanted to be great partners. They wanted to build the sport here. They wanted to sort of have multiple events and build sort of a relationship over years. They made it really hard to say no, and we're grateful because the market has been great. It's been welcoming. It's always good when you have a quasi home team in one of these events.
Yes.
Like, obviously you can't plan that during the off season when you're making the choice, but having New England here, we knew we were going to rely on them to help us build the crowd and help reach out to their fan base and push them here because they're only 45 minutes down the road. But having them here obviously has given us a big bump on ticket sales. We're going to have a great crowd. We're going to have a great game, and hopefully the weather holds off. There's supposed to be a little bit of lightning maybe, but we're crossing our fingers.
No, I believe it's all going to go ahead. But Nick, this has been probably the most incredible year for MLR on-field product, how close, how competitive the season it's been, but off-field as well, it's been a big year. Growth, lots of metrics. Just talk through some of the stuff that's going on off the field that maybe our audience aren't quite as aware of.
Yeah, I mean, listen, across the board, we've had a great year. This was our first year in a new relationship with ESPN. Our initial data is showing that our numbers are multiples higher on our digital product than they were previously. We've had a couple of great windows on ESPN2. We don't have the data on those yet, but anecdotally, early data shows really good numbers for us. Our crowds, especially at the top end, have been up. We've had various teams have set game day records this year in terms of attendance, in terms of game day revenue, in terms of all the things that help you drive growth and value in the league. We have our biggest international package of rights out. We're live in New Zealand, in Australia, in South Africa, in France, in the UK. So that's huge. This game today will be live in the U.S. It'll be live in Spanish on ESPN Deportes here in South America and in Portuguese in Brazil.
Wow.
So we're really trying to grow. I mean, we're 100% focused on the U.S. and growing our market, but the more we can do to build sort of a fan base overseas and build our brand overseas, that's great as well. It's all about driving big numbers, bringing new fans to the sport, and exposing our league to the fans of rugby that already exist in the U.S. and overseas.
Nick, last question, because I know you're so busy today. Trust me, I do know. We've got two franchises. One that was here right in the beginning in Houston Saber Cats, and then one that has just been so successful. What for you has impressed you so much from your side of things on both the Free Jacks and the Saber Cats?
Well, listen, the Free Jacks have shown consistency. You were talking about parity. You were talking about parity in the league. You have jeopardy in every single match. You have jeopardy have jeopardy in every single match, and you have jeopardy in the tables, right? So right up to the end, you didn't know who was going to be in the playoffs or who was going to be hosting.
About it, San Diego.
Why are we bringing that up? Well, cheers, mate.
So that jeopardy is great. Like right now, over the last 3 years, New England has won more games in the last couple minutes than anyone else, right? But that can go either way. Houston been here from the beginning, great stadium, great crowd. They've looked like the team to beat almost every year at the beginning of the season, right? You're looking at them going like, who's going to beat them? Who's going to beat them into the championship? Last year and the year before, they couldn't quite make it. They've earned their spot. It's going to be a great game.
Love it.
Mate, you getting me excited. I didn't think I could get more excited, but somehow you found a way, Nick. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today, and good luck with everything today. It's a huge day for MLR, and a credit to you and all the hard work you and the organisation do.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, Nick. Thanks so much. We are going to take a first break there. That's right. After this, we are going to have some head-to-head. Captains head-to-head, and more from the crowd. That's right. They're out there here at MLR Fan Festival. We'll be back after this.
You're clear.
And even fewer people have, and that is do it anyway.
Something you don't want to do, something that's going to be uncomfortable, something that's going to be hard, something that you don't feel like doing. There's a skill in doing it anyway. So build up that skill and take that step. Go.
Major League Rugby is 80 relentless minutes. Big hits, hard tackles, no pads. It's fast, it's physical. The ball doesn't stop, and neither do the players. And when it's playoffs time, every hit echoes louder. Every tackle hits harder. Because every moment could be the difference between the end of the season or lifting the MLR shield. Come for a game, stay for everything else. It's playoff time, America.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is awesome, but the real great event is the Major League Rugby Championship match between the New England Free Jacks and the Houston Saber Cats on ESPN2 at 2 p.m. You got to tune in because it's going to be an awesome match in a brand new jewel of a stadium here in Pawtucket. And guys, we also caught up with the captains this week, and powered by Jocko Fuel, here's what they had to say.
So a lot of hard work goes into this season, and for us to make it all the way into playoffs, it just shows all that hard work's paying off, and it's just excitement just to put everything we've learned this whole season into one final game and hopefully come out on top.
It's been a goal of ours, obviously, like every team, all season long. But I think we reached that halfway point in the season, and we realized that we really needed to tighten up, come together, and we made a massive focus point on just taking it week for week and not getting ahead of ourselves.
There is quite a bit of pressure in that, and obviously wanting to make a little bit of history with that three-peat, which all just adds to it. But hopefully, we just want to perform under pressure. We love our fans. They bring a bit extra for us at games. We love playing in front of them.
I think we are the underdogs. I think New England deserve to be favourites. They've won the 2 previous seasons. But that being said, we're coming into this game extremely hungry, and we know we can get the job done.
We're going to expect a lot from Houston. They're always been a dominant team in this comp, and how they've ended this comp has been pretty impressive. We're going to tell that they're just going to come out hungry for a win. Big pack, strong pack. So we're expecting a lot.
We're expecting it's going to be a massive battle. Just our preparation has just been really focusing on ourselves, just knowing what we do really well and trying to execute that, and also trying to neutralise what the Free Jacks do well.
Preparation is just about crossing the T's, dotting the I's, making sure that bodies are good, skills are good, and we're prepared well for what we need to do to pull off a win.
It would be very special. It's something I think that's really, really important to this club, and it's going to mean a hell of a lot. Me personally, it'll be a special thing to, like you said, get my hands on it again, and that's something I'm desperate to do.
It's huge for us, so we're going to really enjoy having a decent crowd down there and hopefully giving them a lot to cheer for in a Free Jacks win. Yeah, the excitement's huge. Obviously, the season's quite long, so a lot of hard work goes into
All right, we are back. And guys, we have to talk some rugby. We've had all kinds of cool stuff, but we're going to talk some rugby. And Alex, since you coached with San Diego in the Western Conference, you're going to talk about the Saber Cats. And Will, because we're in New England and it's just across the pond from England, you're going to talk about the Free Jacks.
Well done.
So, Alex, tell us about this Saber Cats franchise.
Well, this Saber Cats franchise has got something special this season. They're a team that, have climbed their way through this competition. I think last year they showed they were one of the teams to beat, but they weren't quite the finish article for the playoffs. This year their journey's been a little bit tougher, but I think that has really rounded out key parts of their game. How do they play? They are going to kick a lot today. They kick more infield than any team in the league. That is because they like to back their defense, back their pressure, and then play in the right areas of the field. They use set piece as a weapon. In the pack, they have a big dynamic front row, but then they have an engine room that really consists of 5 locks, and that is the DNA of Houston. The physicality, the size, and the forwards. It comes with a strong scrum, a strong maul, and a big round the corner front foot gain line approach, and it also gives them the bangers on D to try and slow down the Free Jacks. That is what this Houston team has. The conditions today could play into their favor, but really the Free Jacks are that complete outfit that you've got to keep an eye on.
I just want to play prop after listening to that. But Will, tell us
I don't know
about
if you do, mate. Look at this.
I know.
Hooker, maybe. Hooker.
Look, Corbs maybe still wishes he were out on the field. Well, look, in terms of the Free Jacks, as much as everything Corbs has just said, this, as you just said right at the end, is they're very much the matchup, because they also have a powerful set piece. They also are aggressive. They play straight through you as well, and then they hold on to the ball. They're very controlled, I would say, Matt, and they're relatively balanced. I look in terms of their threats out wide as well. Paul Abalakana, mentioned him at the beginning of the show, just how many tries he scored in MLR this year. But you've also got players who know about this stage. I mean, they're here for the 3rd time in a row. LaRue Milan at 12. I mean, LaRue has been brilliant this year. I actually think it's probably been his standout year. I think he has such an important role in that Free Jacks, just getting them on the front foot. And they're smart. They're coached really well by Ryan Martin. Scott Maddy beforehand, by the way, last year, the year before that was fantastic.
A.K.A. Ted Lasso.
A.K.A. Ted Lasso. Love that. They're just, what I would say, Matt, they're a very well-oiled machine.
I agree. And I think they have the components to beat Houston. The only questions I have is, can they handle the bludgeoning in the forwards? If the Free Jacks, they're that all-court game against a powerhouse. And if their all-court game can control the powerhouse, it doesn't have to dominate, it means that the team has a chance. But to me, that will decide it. If Free Jacks maul gets if the Houston maul gets rolling, or those big forwards start getting gain line, where the Free Jacks are one of the most violent tacklers in the competition, but Houston are big and they keep coming and they keep coming, and those exchanges will probably decide the game for me. Can Houston get those quick tries in the 22 in a short amount of phases, or will they be frustrated? Because I think if you're the Free Jacks, Will, you're keeping ball in play today. You're trying to move those big men around, and you're trying to use your all-court game to execute and catch them.
Okay, enough about the big men. This is the battle of the backup fly halves as well.
Yeah, that's right.
AJ Alatimu and Dan Hollinshead. Who's going to impact the game more?
Well, look, I know we talked about this yesterday, didn't we? And I know obviously AJ Alatimu is really a talisman. Not having Davy Kutzer is maybe a big threat, a big sort of negative for them. He stepped up really well. I was at Captain's Run yesterday with you, Matt McCarthy, and I watched Dan Hollinshead. Calm, relax, Kiwi, New Zealander, and he's played in this league before. He's played high level as well across New Zealand. For me, it's just his nature sums up the Free Jacks. They're confident. And he's been confident all year. He came in week 8, I believe. Week 8 he came and he was so good. But it's also, look, there's so many other areas across the board as well that they are also fantastic. Vian Conradi, the number 8. I want to talk about him because he, the Namibian, is lethal. He's constantly around the field as well. He works so hard. Watch how he's just supporting play as a back rower. Considering he's doing all the tackling as well, he's literally an engine to behold. And also, just the way he hits hard. So as much as we want to talk about the fly halves, I also want to mention that the back row corps, the bus, Rugby and camaraderie, Matt. You love that nickname.
I love the name. I love the name.
I would also say is a big one. I know he's got someone to go up against.
And he's an all-rounder, really. And he sums up the difference in the two sides for me, that he can kind of do everything. But when you look at Houston, look how they pick their back rows. And let's go from the bus to the war machine. Marno Redlinghuis, the number 8 for Houston, has been an enforcer all season. Watch him here in the opening playoff game against LA. Big, physical, abrasive, gets the offload, and really this is what Houston are about. Strong scrum, big forwards carrying on the front foot, generating quick ball, and do not forget the maul. He is a big cog in their set piece, traditionally more of a lock 6, but now playing 8, and then don't worry, on D, he bangs and he bangs again. In those contact areas, who wins those collisions could decide who wins the game today.
All right, guys, statistically looking at these guys, and this matchup is brought to us by Jocko Fuel, of course. We'd be remiss if we didn't add that. Talk to me about the numbers on that graphic.
Well, camaraderie just literally has, the numbers are so high. He gets through so much. In terms of carries in the league, or carry meters made, only Billy Meeks has topped him. He's number 2. So that's the go-to man. They're going to literally get the ball in his hands as much as possible. But Marno Redlinghuis, when he does carry, look at his numbers go up.
Exactly, and I think that dictates some of the way the teams play as well. Free Jacks play with the ball a little more. Houston mainly play more when it's on. They don't play from everywhere, and I think that work rate and all-round game from camaraderie really gives him the ability to sort of balance that Free Jacks all-court game.
Well, look, we talked about the head-to-head. Matt, we appreciate you coming on stage.
Thank you, Matt.
I appreciate it.
I realise we just talked.
And sorry about the name thing. I was reading off the teleprompter.
You are. But to be fair on Matt, we want to give him a shout-out because MLR Weekly and the Rugby Odds is an amazing show. You've been at the forefront of it for so long now. We will take a quick break. You need to get back out to the crowd. We'll be back after this.
Woo!
Good throw, mate.
This is the Rugby Odds, where an unlikely pundit panel of a wordsmith, a WWE legend, a rugby star, and a supermodel scour the globe, seeking best bets and bad behavior. Are you not entertained? From New York City comes America's longest-running and most popular rugby show. The biggest names in Major League Rugby, MLR highlights, and big match previews. Rugby Wrap-Up presents MLR Weekly, made in New York City.
Welcome back to your MLR Championship pre-show. Alex Commissaro with Will Hooley. Will, these are going down pretty quick. Again, a big shout out to Jocko Fuel. I am an absolute Jocko fan. Like, I can't not help it. I call myself this week, after I've been clanging and banging, drinking all my Mulk, I am Mulk Hogan. And I'm telling you, Mulkamania is about to run wild in Rhode Island. We have an incredible day of rugby. We appreciate the support. But why are we here? We're here to talk rugby, and let's go back out into the crowd as we send Matt McCarthy into the Fan Fest to hear from the fans direct.
All right, hey guys, I'm here with a couple of super fans from each team, and we're going to do a little quiz. We're going to find out what they know. Let's see. First off, do you know who the center is from Canada on the Free Jacks?
Yeah, that's going to be
Ben Lesage. You're correct. What hockey team does he like?
Canadiens.
That is incorrect. A man in your pack is musically inclined. 3. Who would you guess?
Nate.
No, it is Johann Mozart Mumsen. Mumsen. All right, those might have been too tough, but let's see what you know about your team again. What is the New England Free Jacks record in the postseason?
And postseason where we got 1 loss to New York, we got 2 wins twice last year and 1 last
Just
week.
what's the number, sir?
That'd be
7-1. Yeah. What is the Houston Saber Cats record in the postseason?
2-4.
Oh, he was so close. It's 2-3, and you guys just missed out on winning the new car. But we got some Jocko Fuel for you and some St. Mary's towels. Back to you guys.
He is so loose. Why we allowed him just to go out of the crowd?
Well, it was your call. Very rogue. We love Matt, though. We do love him.
We do love Matt, and he will be bringing you those updates. MLR, Major League Rugby social media, they are also going to be bringing you the live updates at USMLR. You've got to check them out and also follow them throughout the day. That is how you're going to stay up to date, Corbs. Put it that way.
Yes, well, and I don't mean to be a broken record going on about Jocko Fuel, but we also have a little bit to talk about Jocko's 4:34 a.m. challenge.
Boy.
Very jealous. You got to go meet with him, train with him. Let's get into it and see what you got up to.
Here in a Walmart car park, we tackle Jocko and we get into this stuff. Roll the tape.
Up before the enemy! Up before the enemy!
One of the best habits that I've learned in my life is to get up early and get the workout done before the rest of the day hits.
Tell me, how much do you know about, I'm going to be biased, this great sport of rugby?
I train jiu-jitsu all the time. I surf, I work out all the time. I was watching, I was like, oh, every transition of the ball, there was someone getting laid out. And I was like, I'm not sure I want to do this.
Rather get stronger. How are they going to compete with us?
Simple exercises. Not so simple. Great motivation though, wow. Do you reckon the pro athlete could maybe make it as the Navy SEAL training? I mean, how would they get on, do you reckon?
Oddly enough, the physical part of being a SEAL and making it through SEAL training, the physical part, if you played a couple sports in high school, you probably can make it through.
Right.
People usually don't quit because of pull-ups. They quit for the torture. Discipline to me is freedom, right? You want to have all kinds of different freedom in your life. You want to have freedom in your world. But the way that you get freedom in life is through discipline. Same thing with free time. Everyone wants more free time.
Yeah.
How do you get more free time? By having more disciplined time management, by getting up early in the morning at 4:34. You can work out or you can lay in bed. You can drink water or you can drink a Coca-Cola. You can drink a Jocko Hydrate or you can drink one of the other brands that's filled with sugar and crap and chemicals. So we're making disciplined decisions.
Jocko, you're a legend.
Right on.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Welcome back to your pre-championship show, and we are joined by a special guest here, Will, rugby royalty in America, one of your voices of the MLR, New York's finest, Mike Petrie. Welcome, mate.
I was just going to say Blaine Scully's behind me. He's not up yet. He's back here.
You're the USA Hall of Famer, Mike. And also, I'm going to proudly be in the booth with the big man as well.
I know.
Oh, it's a privilege. The privilege is mine, Will. The privilege is mine.
Mike, let's just get straight into it. You've been watching MLR all season. What do you make of it? This matchup will be fine. We talked about it enough, but from your side of things, Saber Cats, Free Jacks?
Listen, I just have one thing to say. Showing up in Rhode Island now this afternoon, or this morning, I should say, the league needed the Free Jacks in this final, like Jordan needed Pippen in the 90s, legit, that is it. I mean, this atmosphere is amazing. I mean, this is really a home game for New England, and I can't get enough of it. I'm so excited for this game, and what a barn burner it'll be. I mean, Houston is physical, as I've heard you say many times. New England's fun to watch. I mean, I don't even know what to expect today. It's going to be so good.
It's just a special day, and I think you hit it on the head. The fact that the Free Jacks made it to the big dance, I think, really is the cherry on top for today's festivities.
Definitely.
And I wonder what that home field crowd advantage could be like, because one of the big things that I found in finals is I coached in 2, we won 1, we lost 1. the game that we won, we started well. And once you start well, momentum, energy, emotion starts to flow because it's a big game. I feel if the Free Jacks start well, that could be the recipe for them to grow into the game with the energy of the crowd. On the other hand, though, if they don't start well, a la San Diego Legion 2023, it could be a really tough day at the office for them.
Listen, no matter who starts the game, like, well, I agree. The Free Jacks need a hot start. Like, they really need to come out of the gates firing, and I think they will. We talked about this last week, Will. I think the pressure was on them to get here, right? And I think they felt that against Chicago early on. They were playing at home in their Fort Quincy, their real home field, and they were down. They found themselves down in a big hole, and they climbed back out of it. Yeah. I don't know if they'd be able to climb out of that same hole here today, but I don't think they'll need to. I think with the energy of this fan base that they'll have behind us, as you see, there's some yellow, but mostly it's red. Mostly it's red, white, and blue. And it's like, there's people walking around with Patriots hats and all kinds of things. And I mean, they'll ride that momentum, I think, from the early on. And I think they'll put the ball in someone like Balakana's hands right out of the gates. And I think they'll get the crowd on their feet. And I think it'll get this stadium pumping.
Now, Mike, you've spoken, like myself, to the coaches as well throughout the whole season. And we're going to hear from them a little bit later. But just from your opinion, Patrick Chung and then you got Ryan Martin. They're two quite different characters. Does that sum up kind of the styles that they go for in their franchises?
I think so. I mean, the one thing I would say is both are cool as a cucumber, really. I mean, you speak to them and it's like you wouldn't even think that they were leading up to a championship final. They were calm, collected, poised, ready, and they all had said they've been preparing for this from day one. I mean, you look at Ryan Martin, who said, we talked about the elephant in the room right away in preseason, and it's like, this is a three-peat type of season. We got to get it out there. We're not going to hide it. We can't ignore it. It's going to be an uphill battle. And then the Saber Cats, I mean, they had a great season last year, and then they got knocked out in the first round
against Dallas.
Yeah, that's right. So, they have a lot to prove, and it's a lot of the same core group of guys in that Houston team that would still feel that pain, and we've talked about that, and we all know what that feels like. We've been in those locker rooms where it's like, that's just miserable. And now you get a chance to play here. I mean, no question, they'll be big time up for it.
Yeah, it just sets the spectacle up really well. And I think that one of the things that I do love about the Free Jacks is their versatility. Yeah. And I think the way they can play that all-court game is the recipe to win this. If they can nullify some of the strengths, I like it to, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, if they can survive the rope-a-dope and then throw their sort of finesse out there, that is the recipe for a three-peat. And I think what that would do as a statement in the league would be enormous, because especially considering how competitive this season was, the fact that they got back to the dance again is just quite remarkable.
It is. It's an amazing accomplishment for them. And what I would say, one of the things that I find most impressive is you look at, they've done this, they're a well-rounded team, but they've done it without Jason Patros, who I saw out in the parking lot. I mean, that is quite an accomplishment to do that without your playmaker. That's like losing your star quarterback or your star point guard middle of the season and still getting to your third championship. That's a pretty big statement.
Mike, quickly before you go, and it is a quick answer. Prediction: who's winning?
Oh, yeah. Hot seat. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Free Jacks. I think you can't help it. I think it's a dynasty sort of organization, and with this kind of atmosphere, I think they're in.
Well, Mike, Petrie, we massively appreciate you. I'll see you later in the booth. Appreciate a Hall of Famer coming on to the show.
Looking dapper as well, mate. Thanks for coming on in a jacket, looking fresh.
Thanks so much. Well, look, Mike, before you're going to enter or exit, I should say, we mentioned about the coaches, and we did catch up with them in Patrick Chung for the Houston Saber Cats and Ryan Martin for the New England Free Jacks. Here is what they had to say from them.
Is unbelievable. The guys are really excited. This is what we worked for 4 years.
To be at another championship is a real testament to the longevity of the club and our ownership group. The Eastern final was just phenomenal, wasn't it? 83 minutes of just toing and froing and two teams just putting everything on the line. And that's what I love about rugby. And at the end of the day, the width of the post dictated who wins and who loses.
Challenge against Utah was really great. We really smashed them. We struggled and we made it. I could see the players already. They really want this badly.
I just love the tip of the hat that it is, especially being in New England, at Rhode Island. It's such an awesome, special thing.
To beat New England is going to be difficult. This is the third final. They've won it twice. They know what finals rugby is all about. It's close to their home. They don't have to travel far. We have to fly down there.
Houston are in great form, aren't they? So we know that we've got a huge challenge. But in saying that, we've got a lot of confidence around what we've been doing today. I feel as though we're in a really good place. The boys are super fresh and super excited around this opportunity.
We know what's coming. We played them earlier this year. They're a very good side, very good balanced side. They're also physical. They've got a good maul, good set piece, exciting backs. So it's going to be a great game. It's all or nothing. Now it's the time. If we don't make it now, we don't know if we will ever do it again.
Yeah, three-peat's never been done in the MLR. And to be honest, I came and ran a December camp last year, and we've been put in a great spot from the previous coaching crews and players over the last 2 years, and they've given us the opportunity to do something no one's ever done before. It's been in all our language this whole year, and for it to come to fruition now and we get a shot at it, we're super excited.
It means a lot for us to put our hand on this shield. And for me personally, firstly, I want to give it to our owners because I think they deserve it. The backroom staff works their asses off to make this work in Houston. So for us, it will be the pinnacle to win this thing on Saturday.
Cheers, Will.
Cheers, mate.
How good to hear from the men in charge of both teams. But do not go anywhere because we're about to take a commercial break. But when we get back, we'll hear from the man in charge of USA Rugby.
Yes,
USA Rugby CEO Bill Gorin will be joining us. We'll see you real soon.
No matter what happens on the field, once you're off the field, everyone's kind of that community and that sisterhood.
You'll never meet such fierce people on the field who are so kind and loving and accepting off of the field.
You just create so many friendships. The community is like unlike any other sport.
I've made some of my closest friends playing rugby. You can just be yourself.
Us also looking dapper. It's one of those days in rugby where you got to bring your best dress. Bill Gorin, CEO of USA Rugby, welcome to the Pregame Championship show, brought to you by Jocko Fuel.
Got mine right here.
Oh yes, give it a little cheers, mate. Give it a little cheers.
Yeah. Open up.
He's on brand.
You need to be hydrated today. You've got a big day. You've got a big day. Great, Bill. Great to see you. Obviously, a lot of people will know the fact that you used to be with MLR.
Yes.
You used to be very much involved with MLR. How excited are you today to see a new venue, new place, and on behalf of USA Rugby, showing that rugby is growing in other markets?
Yeah, it's amazing. From my first MLR championship to what you see today, this is night and day, and it's growing every single year, and this was a huge step to be in Rhode Island and a quality stadium with the fans showing up the way it is. It's unbelievable, and it's all to the benefit of USA Rugby, to be honest. Our athletes are getting better, stronger, faster. They're playing better rugby, and we're hoping to see much more success on the field as we go to qualification this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a big year, and that's one of the things I love as we are looking ahead in this landscape to 2031. I think the synergy between USA Rugby and MLR partnering, continuing that growth is very exciting. Talk about some of the partnerships and things coming up as well.
Yeah, I mean, the synergy, you said it. It's me moving over from MLR to USA Rugby. I understand what MLR's goals are, and we're able to communicate incredibly well. And so we're both on this path together. Our success is theirs, and their success is ours, and we just continue to push forward. So as we're going into the next season, and we're bringing some of our athletes into tests and then back into MLR, it's just this closer and closer relationship with the coaches across the league and our head coaches, our pathway programs and everything. So it couldn't be in a better situation than it has been, than it could be, actually.
And then actually, this year is such a big year. I think we almost don't want to underestimate that, because Women's World Cup, and then also you talked about the World Cup qualifiers for the men.
Yes.
How are you feeling? Is it nerve-wracking for you as a CEO? Like, how do you go about knowing like these results? They are important, of course.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of stress.
You got him.
Yeah.
You got him.
There's a lot of stress, but I feel like everything we've done, especially when we talk about the women's going into the World Cup, the path that we have gone along in the last 2 years of preparing these athletes, doing different things on the field, when we have assembled, how we've assembled, I feel very confident we're going to put the best product we can on the field. And the same with the men. Like, we've done the exact same thing as building together, working with MLR, making sure we can put the best product on the field. And when it comes to crunch time, we'll be prepared to have success.
And as you look forward on this journey of MLR USA Rugby, what are some of the key aspects you guys are focusing on to maybe take this to the next level sort of next year and going forward, from the PNC this summer to more rugby games in America to continued synergy between the two teams?
getting closer on the pathways. As we're having athletes coming out of high school going into college going into MLR, just making sure that we're closer on the pathways so that next generation of athlete is ready to represent the Eagles.
Yeah.
2031 Rugby World Cup. I'm sure there's going to be some question marks sooner in terms of like host cities or when things start to come out. Can you give us any insight as to, I'm putting you on the spot here, but just in terms of what we can expect, the sort of trajectory, the journey we're going to see between now and 2031?
Yeah, over the last few years, we've gone through almost every stadium in the U.S. to make sure pitch is perfect and we're able to play in these stadiums, what the availability is of these stadiums, and we're starting to pick cities that might be potential opportunities, and then we're going to look at the viability, the revenue opportunities in those cities, right? It's much bigger than having a great pitch. It's having all the fields around there to be able to prepare for those international teams for a week or 2 weeks, however long they're assembling beforehand. So there's so much more that I almost knocked that over. So much more involved in it. But I would say over the next few months, we'll start being able to get to a point where we can start talking to cities about signing agreements and looking towards the World Cup.
Very, very exciting. Another thing I love with the MLR and which synergizes with USA Rugby is sort of the grassroots participation and the importance that they're putting on of trying to get youth involved in the game. It synergizes with your guys' mission, the Imagine Rugby program, really going from strength to strength. What are you seeing from participation on the grassroots, and what does that give you looking ahead to the long-term view?
I'm just seeing the game grow. On the women's side, it's growing at a great number. You're seeing a lot more young women, young girls get into the game.
Alona's helped that.
Yeah. Alona does help that. I thought it was me, but
no, Bill, also
I guess it was Alona. But more athletes that didn't think rugby was their option is what they're now getting engaged into the game, and that's what's most important. And yes, we work incredibly close with Imagine Rugby, with our youth and high school group, to make sure there's more and more athletes that have that opportunity. We're developing more coaches, more referees at the grassroots level, because the game doesn't happen without those two, and it doesn't. Athletes don't grow if they don't have good coaching and supportive coaching. So.
Absolutely. I've got to put you on the spot right at the end.
Yeah.
About today, the game today. You obviously know both franchises very well. Who do you have? Who do you reckon? Did New England get a three-peat?
Well, did Nick answer the question?
I deliberately didn't ask Nick, because I thought maybe he had to not be biased.
You're out of MLR now.
You're out of MLR, so what do you think? Go on.
I'm going to go bold here. I've thought about it a lot, and rugby wins.
Oh, Bill! Oh,
he's running for president next.
No. Bill Goran, we appreciate, you're a busy man. We massively appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
And good luck for this big year and then the future ahead.
All right.
Absolutely. Thanks for all you do, Bill. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Bill. Thanks so much for coming on the show. We are going to take a very small commercial break, because when we come back, we will have another couple of special guests and then our predictions calls. We've got to call it out as well to finish up the show. Join us just after this.
Before the world wakes up, the battle begins. A battle of opposing wills. Our freedom is on the line. It's not about being perfect. It's about being better than you were yesterday. And every time you make the decision to keep going, your discipline gets stronger. The path of discipline is hard, but it's the path you chose. This battle has no opponent. It is only you versus you.
Welcome to the Rugby Rundown.
A one-stop shop for all rugby lovers, from unparalleled access, big-name interviews, and special features.
I'm Alana Marr.
Jocko here.
We've got you covered.
Before the world.
Welcome back to your pre-MLR Championship show, but really the main event is coming up in a couple hours, and it is the final, which sees the Houston Saber Cats taking on the New England Free Jacks live 2 p.m. on ESPN2. Will, you'll be in the booth, I'll be on the desk.
Yes.
It's a big occasion for rugby here in America. Huge shout out to Jocko Fuel for allowing us to put on this show for you and the fans in rugby. It's all filling up behind us as well.
It is the MLR Fan Fest.
atmosphere is growing.
It is, and we appreciate the Guild as well here in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. We're trying to do things new here at Major League Rugby. You know, we've had some halftime shows, but now we're really trying to bring a festival. Last night was fun.
Yeah,
Last night was
fun.
loose. We had a boat race between the Houston Saber Cats and the New England Free Jacks fans, and Houston won that one.
In a buzzer beater.
Is that things to come?
I felt like it was a sign. I don't want to give my predictions away, but I definitely took something from it.
Well, look, when we're talking about predictions, there was a certain Matt McCarthy who was on the table, but we have sent Mr. Matt McCarthy out to the crowd for one last time. He's joined by a couple of very special guests. We talked about that we're going to be involved in the broadcast. There's another couple of guys also going to be brought into the broadcast. You hear their voices. Why don't you see their faces? Matt, tell me, who have you got with you?
All right, guys, I am surrounded, flanked by legends in media in the USA and globally, quite frankly, in Mr. Ben Holden and Dallin Stanford. And unfortunately, three of us like to talk, but we only have one mic, so I'm in control. Gentlemen, I know that it's your professional obligation to remain partial in calling Rugby Super Bowl the MLR Championship, but right now we're fans, and I'm going to ask you who's going to win and who's going to and why, and it's a 5.5 point spread as per the Rugby odds. Ben.
Well, I think it's a road game clearly for Houston. I think New England's got an amazing group of people here, as we're seeing here today. Their fan base travels with Seattle as good as anybody in this.
So you're picking Houston?
I'm going to take New England if I had to. I don't like doing that because I am calling the match, but you're asking me to do this. I will say New England wins in a close match. I think Houston's going to show up. I think they're going to punch and punch and punch, but I think in the end New England wins a third in a row.
All right, Dallin, there's a lot of pressure on you right now.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Houston is going to come and bring it. They're going to be leading for 65 minutes. But because my wife is from New England, they're going to come back and win the game and get the three-peat. It is going to be as tight as a facelift.
Is this mine showing? Sorry. All right, okay. And for my pick, back to you guys.
Oh, what, Matt? You didn't even say anything.
He froze on us, didn't he? No. Some great predictions there, Will, and I guess that's the time of the show now where we need to talk through how we think this one's going to go down.
Are you saying me first?
Yeah, I'm setting you up first,
look,
mate.
You know.
Pushing you off the plank, and then I'll see how you land.
We've enjoyed a hell of a season, you and I, on the Rugby Rundown. We do a crystal ball challenge every week. Free Jacks fans have got into me a few times, the fact that I didn't pick them much during the season. Relax, I actually did. And I'm picking them today. I'm picking them today. I think this is their three-peat. I just think they're balanced, that what they've got in attack and also defence. For Houston, if you stop them at the gain line, Corbs, then for me that is where they become not so effective, obviously. And then I just think the fact that the Free Jacks have been here multiple times will eventually show. Their crowd, their fans will get behind them. I'm going to say, you're going to probably give me a far better answer, but I'm going to just say Free Jacks by 7.
Ooh, very well balanced, and I think this game is a very hard one to call. So for me, I could see arguments for both sides, but the way I see it going down, it's been a little bit wet today, and I think that plays into Houston's hands.
Yeah, you do believe that, don't you?
I think that the wetness means it will restrict some of the handling of the Free Jacks. They are a very physical side in attack, but I do think Houston have the edge in size and physicality. So if the Free Jacks can't move the ball as freely, it starts to play in Houston's hand to me. The other hand is, all right, if it is wet and it is more direct footy, who do you think's winning on the front foot in attack? I think Houston's big men could get on a rumble. The questions are, can their 10 and 15 control the game as well as Coates and Wild usually do? I think their kicking game will hold out, but make sure, because the Free Jacks very clever in the backfield. And then lastly, I think the discipline of the Free Jacks could give Houston the ins to the 22 they need. They're only off transition do they score from far out. Really, the most of their tries come from in the 22, kick corner, maul, or forwards round the corner until they bludgeon you over the line. And if the ill discipline is there from the Free Jacks, I'm picking Houston in a nail-biter by 3 points.
Nail-biter by 3 points?
And I could look silly, but I've made my argument, and we will see.
Oh, look.
I'm glad the fans can't hear me.
Yeah, they're all in the back there, and they're going to be making their way to Centerville Bank Stadium, where at 2 p.m. it is going to be the New England Free Jacks against the Houston Saber Cats. Corbs, we've been live for an hour, and there's probably been some hiccups, probably, but we've done all right, haven't we?
We've done good, mate, and it's only been an hour, and I've still haven't run out of things to talk about.
Yeah,
what else is new? I could go for another hour. So that's how excited I am for today's game. I think we just got to give a huge shout out again to Jocko Fuel for supporting us and allowing to make this happen. Same with the MLR for backing us and giving this tremendous opportunity to represent the league, to represent the organisation, and also our production staff and everyone that's involved. We couldn't do this without you, and we hope this is the beginning of something very, very special and big things to come next year.
We appreciate also all our guests. We thank you for watching here on the Rugby Network, or of course on MLR YouTube. Go to ESPN2, 2 p.m. for the final, the championship game, from myself, Will Hooley, Alex Corpusciero, and Jocko Fuel. See you soon. Thank you very much.
Don't miss it.